wish I had a punchline.
What is up, Chocolatiers? Before we get into the review, we're almost at 800 subs, so thank you guys for that. And if you are not subscribed, because for whatever reason, like shit, support a small business. I'm not getting paid either, so I don't even know why I fucking commented that. We're doing this for love of the game. This is a hobby. Like, subscribe, and let's get right into this review. So, guys, I just watched my favorite movie of the year, even though it's been 11 days. Is this thing on? This movie is awesome. Just want you to know, if you're one of those people, for whatever reason, if you don't like this movie, you hate this movie, this is probably gonna be a glazed review. So you can go hit that like and subscribe. Then you can leave. Go watch my Primate review. Go watch that Greenland review if it's out. I don't know if I'm gonna put that out before this. It doesn't matter. Go watch those. This is gonna be a glazed review. I love this movie so much. So this is the Will Arnett film, starring Will Arnett, I guess I should say. It's starring him and Laura Dern, where they play a married couple who is kind of on the rocks. They're splitting up. They're potentially getting a divorce. And it's directed by Bradley Cooper. Now, if you're on Twitter, I know you've seen this if you're on film Twitter. What's up with the Bradley Cooper hate? I said, dude, I like Bradley Cooper. What the fuck? He directed this movie, so I was excited. That's why I was there. Him and Will Arnett. I said, dude, Will Arnett getting some love? Finally. Tired of just watching his ass on Lego Masters. Will Arnett does nice work, okay? This dude's fucking killing this movie. He, like I said, him and his wife potentially getting a divorce, and so in order to kind of cope with that, he goes to this comedy bar one night, and they tell him, they're like, you gotta pay 15 bucks to get in, right? And he sits over here, and he's thinking to himself, he's like, well, shit, like, you know, this woman just came in, why does she not have to pay $15? And the dude explains to him, he's like, hey, he's like, well, she didn't have to because she puts her name on a list because she's going to go do comedy. If you're going to go do comedy there, then you kind of like almost kind of working for like the bar in a way, because like you're giving them kind of like free, you know, whatever. People are coming in for entertainment, right? So like they just let you in for free as long as you perform. And so he's like, well, shit, like I'll go up there. And he just starts telling his story, and you see that from the trailers, like where he's like, you know, I think I'm getting a divorce and this and that. He's like, what tipped me off is, you know, the fact that like, you know, I don't live at home anymore and this and that there. And so people laughed, and like, even though it's not really funny, and even though he kind of like tells his story and he's just being honest, that's what makes his comedy work. Because he is just a regular dude, and he's just being fucking honest about his life, and that can kind of be funny for some people. And so it ends up being like this really, you know, beautiful story about him trying to like reconnect with his wife, and him trying to figure out like what failed the marriage, while also coping with it by doing this comedy that he's never done before, because he works in like finance and stuff like that. And so this is kind of like his outlet, because like therapy doesn't work, but this does. This is how he could have an outlet, have something to do or whatever. And it is just so, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Now what's so funny is I ironically talked to somebody tonight that fucking hated this movie. Somebody that works at the theater that I go to regularly. I actually know them kind of personally from weirdly enough, high school. I don't know how this even works, by the way, either. It's like a different state. But anyways, somehow they work here. And I was talking to them about it. And they were like, yeah, like they just didn't get it. It just wasn't like a, you know, for them, like they just didn't, you know, like the movie or whatever. And I was like, really? And, you know, their reasons made sense and stuff like that. And I can kind of see why you wouldn't. But for me, this movie really worked. I feel like if you have been a subscriber here and you see the type of movies that I like, and you like if you agree with my opinions, you're gonna like this movie. If you don't, then shit, you probably like him. Like, I don't like the goddamn movie. But I just really love this movie, man. Like Will Arnett gives a hell of a performance. There's like a beautiful scene, for example, like where he is at his new apartment, and like he's like folding like his kids' laundry, because he's like getting them like on the weekends and stuff like that. They're kind of like, you know, because they're not fully divorced yet, so they're kind of like working out the details and stuff like that. And he just like starts shedding a tear, dude. Boy's crying on demand. And like it's such a sad scene, because like he's sitting there like he misses his family, but he doesn't miss like the bitching and arguing that like him and his wife do, and like he doesn't miss the way she's kind of like always checked out and stuff like that. But he does kind of miss that though. Like he misses not having his family, like not having his wife to talk to, you know, whenever things are good and stuff like that. And so it has a lot of stuff to say about, you know, maybe you shouldn't quit too soon. Like maybe you should try to work these things out, you know, because, you know, at one point, one of the characters actually jokes around, or I guess not really a joke around. He's being serious. He tells him that he wants to divorce from his wife, and he kind of encouraged him to do that. And then like closer towards the end of the film, he's kind of like, oh, well, like, you know, talked about whatever this and that. because when you jump the gun like that because of, you know, resentment or whatever, maybe you make the wrong decision, right? And they make a lot of good points about, you know, even communication being key, which somebody like me, I fully agree with. I always say that is 100% fully how you should do a working relationship. Even if you're not married, this could be a platonic relationship. You can't lie to your friends. You can't lie to people that you supposedly love, right? And so it was just really hitting home, man. Like, I was like, dude, I fully agree with this. I love this movie. I love the messaging behind it. And I also love that it showed that you can have another outlet to push these things out, because like he was getting a lot of his anger, frustrations out that he couldn't tell his wife or even a therapist or whatever, this and that he was just telling to random strangers, because they're random strangers. Like, they don't give a shit he's getting a divorce. They're not going to see him next week when he's talking about something else. And so, yeah, like, this movie was just really good. Laura Dern does such a good job in this movie as well. Like, I was ragging on Will Arnett, but like, dude, she does such a good job as well. You know, she's at so many points in time in the movie, I do feel like it kind of leans towards his side, which he is the main character. But it does like this little swap-a-roo thing for about 20 minutes where it kind of gives you like a POV of her side. And even then, I was still kind of like more on his side because it kind of paints her out like a negative light. But by the end of the film, you kind of get what she's saying. I feel like for some people, they might still not like that or connect. And so I could see that being a complaint for you. But by the end of it, I fully was like, okay, I kind of get what she's saying. Even though I wasn't really loving, like, I loved her character, but like, I wasn't loving her reasons behind like the split. You know, for him, he's kind of like, hey, like, you know, you kind of checked out. Like, for example, like he tells a joke in the movie, like, we're riding home, right? And, you know, from hanging out with friends, and like, she's just quiet, and he knows she's pissed off, right? Because, you know, a woman, right? No offense. But like, she's like pissed off. And he finally asks her, he's like, hey, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? Whatever. And she tells him, she's like, you know, I just wish that you brought that same energy and stuff, you know, with your friends and you hanging out with like this and that, whatever, like colleagues, that I wish you would do that with me. And at first, my goofy ass was like, man, fuck me, man, talking to Will Arnett like that. By the end of the movie, I was like, nah, dude, she fucking had a point, though. It's like, you know, she wanted like that goofy nature and like kind of like him being up on stage. She wants like that version of him that he gives to everybody else. But he doesn't do that to her because he feels like he's walking on eggshells. And there's some reasons behind that because like she's also part of the problem. And so it's just, I feel like it's just such a beautiful story just because it does what it needs to do, right? As far as the story it wants to tell, you got great performances. I feel like the jokes landed too. It's like a comedy drama. I was laughing a lot. I thought some of his stand-up, even like the stuff where he was kind of being serious, was kind of funny. Even though some of it was, maybe it wasn't supposed to be funny. There's just a lot of stuff I feel like to love here. And I think it's so funny to be like, it's my favorite movie of the year. It's 11 days, buddy. I'm sure that'll change. But definitely from everything I've watched so far in 2026, this is just so good. I know this technically came out last year in select theaters, but with the wide release this year, I just wanted to, or this weekend, I should say, I just really want to go ahead and cover it on the channel because I just, man, this is a hell of a movie. I really enjoyed it. And so, yeah, with that, I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this movie. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you think about it? Did you get a chance to watch it yet? And with that, like, subscribe for more. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
You cheated. No, you didn't cheat and you get a divorce? Oh, that's some white guy shit.